All right, good to be 1-0. Like honestly, I would say no matter what the score was tonight, a lot to be excited about, a lot of work to do. Excited about a lot of things that we saw out there tonight. Biggest disappointment was the into half. Where we were, really dominating the football game and to kind of have the two series of bad football. Didn't move it there offensively. Obviously, clock became an issue. Had a pretty good punt, a solid punt, and then busted a coverage there on the last play before half was inexcusable. And finishing in those moments when you've played a solid half, and to give a team momentum like that coming in was obviously very disappointing. Like how we responded in the third quarter and the way that we played there. Got a chance to play a lot of guys tonight, which was a big focus. You saw a lot of lineup changes on both sides, probably as aggressively as we've done in the first game, which we felt like both kind of building for the future and in terms of what the guys had done through fall camp. It was going to be important to play a lot of guys tonight, and we did that. So, listen, a lot to build on. There's some big plays on all sides of the ball, so some huge plays on special teams, some great plays on both sides of the ball, but certainly wasn't near, from a consistency standpoint, wasn't there. Credit to San Jose. It's a good football team. Went through the whole week, didn't get asked one question about San Jose in all the media I did 1 week, which with a returning quarterback that has almost 50 starts and I think the number 11 or 12 returning defense in the country, there was a respect factor, I think, for those guys in our locker room, regardless of anything, maybe overlooking them on the outside. So good football team. Coach has done an awesome job with that program. I can't say enough about him and the way those guys play. So we're excited to be 1-0. We got a lot of work to do, which we knew was going to be the case anyway, and we will get up in the morning and get back to attacking it and look forward to be back here in a week.
Guys, congrats on the win. Coach, what's your evaluation of the defense, especially with a lot of new pieces, and particularly the run defense, as it was interesting with this team, most of the run came from the quarterback?
Yeah, quarterback's a good player. I mean, we call several things throughout the game. We had a spy on him a lot of times, and a couple of times we got lost in there, got a little too aggressive, and a couple of times he just flat out outrun us. I mean, he's a good player. That part was disappointing. I think the penalties and then the busted coverage before half. I mean, those were the things that, you take what had the makings of being a good defensive performance, but those are the mistakes you got to correct. Those are the self-inflicted errors, especially the penalties and especially the busted coverage before half, because you talk about a handful of those drives had no momentum. Those were penalties were on big plays, and you can't give a good quarterback like that multiple chances. So I like the way some of the young guys flew around. We had some young guys that made some young guy mistakes too, which that's again a little bit to be expected. So got to continue to grow. Excited about where it can be, but we got a lot of work to do.
What can you say about Zachariah's performance, and when's the last time you had a true freshman in the press conference after his first game?
Yeah, and done it much, but once guys play, then that's part of it, right? It's not freshmen, it's not seniors in there, it's just USC football players now, and he felt like that he earned it. Made an impact on offense, made an impact on special teams. Thought he did a good job. Not trying to do too much, which guys in their first game sometimes will do. And I thought he was, the patience, especially on the return. I mean, you saw a lot of patience there, which was key. And we talked about trusting him going in this first game. He was a great example of that, and obviously heavily impacted the game.
Zachariah, what was your kind of evaluation of the day, and being in the Coliseum, and what was the feeling after scoring that kickoff touchdown?
It was always a dream for me to be at a prestigious university and be around the elite staff and elite players. So all day, they were juicing us up from the morning all the way up into the game, and I was just real excited. And then, our coaches always told us to, just trust our instinct, trust our process, and just go out there and execute. Once I touched that end zone, the crowd turned me up a little bit.
Zachariah, this is your welcome to college football. What kind of message do you hope, you said you had today with 232 all-purpose yards, the touchdowns, etc.?
I wouldn't really say a message. I feel like the coaches have prepared us to put us in certain situations to just go out there and be the best that we can be. So, just to go out there week in and week out and just try to produce the same amount every week.
Mason.
Zachariah, what is your fastest 40 time and also your fastest 100 meter time?
My fastest 40 time, I ran 4:38 at the UA camp, and then my 100 time, I ran 10:3 my sophomore year in high school. I haven't ran since.
Caleb, a lot of new pieces for you this season too. Zachariah, Dorian, how did you feel? Look good out there. How did you feel after this one?
I feel good. I mean, we're 1-0. You always, Coach said this, and walking off the field, there's a bit of frustration that a couple of whether coaches or myself or the players that have been here and seen and know how it should go, and been playing ball for a while in college, and you've been in a lot of games, been in a lot of reps, and in the first half there was a lot of it just felt like we weren't hitting on certain calibers and things like that we're gonna hit on here soon. I spoke to a bunch of the leaders in game, right after Coach took me out, and the message was we got a special team, but the second part of the message was we got a long and a lot to get better at, long way to go and a lot to get better at. But the good part is we're 1-0, I feel good going into this next week. Like Coach said, this is a great team, good team that prepared well, and they went out there and executed, and so do we, and we came out with the win at the end.
Mason,
With all the offensive line shuffling, say about where that unit is at right now.
Well, a lot of it is for positive reason, but yeah, I mean, we got some things to sort out. We think we've got multiple guys that are capable of being starters. This will be an interesting film to go back and look at to see how some of those guys did. I thought they settled in some as the game went on. We've got to obviously find that right combination, which we will. But specifically at the guard positions, it'll be interesting. There's going to be a lot of competition, and there's going to be, not just that position, but a lot of others right now going through. And that's how we want it to be. Like we don't want guys feeling comfortable. We want guys pressing, knowing that they need to get better for the team, and they need to get better to continue to get reps. And it'll be expected of the O-line and every other group.
Mason, applying what Caleb was talking about to the defensive, side of the ball as kind of the leader there. You spent a lot of time chasing around their quarterback tonight. A lot of new faces on this defense. What do you feel like you guys kind of need to do better as a unit? What were some strong points tonight? What's your overall evaluation there?
Yeah, man, a lot to work on, like you said. But the sky's the limit, when you've seen those plays where we were all on our, on our stuff. So just trying to make sure we limit those mistakes. I think a lot of it was self-inflicting. A lot of the plays, we're right there. Just gotta finish. But yeah, I would say, man, we got a lot of work to do.
Zachariah, you said this was your dream for a long time. Did the reality even surpass the dream of what you thought your debut could be?
I didn't really have any expectations. Coach Riley and the rest of the staff just told me to go out there, don't try to do too much, execute your job, and the rest will follow. And I was blessed enough to get those opportunities, and I just tried to capitalize off of them.
Lincoln, you guys were pretty good on third down tonight. Can you just talk about how much you kind of needed to be good on third down to keep things rolling this game?
Yeah, it's every game. It's always a key stat. And probably the major difference in this game was they were 5 of 13, and when you count third and fourth downs, they were 5 of 14. And then we were pretty good offensively there. So defense did a nice job on third and fourth downs. Offense did a nice job staying on the field. We were pretty aggressive with it throughout the night, and that's important. It's a sign of a good offense, sign of a good defense to be able to get those stops. And that's a lot of times. third downs and turnovers typically are the name of the game, and they certainly were again tonight.
Caleb, you were college football's best player last year. You threw for 278 yards, 4 touchdowns. When you break down the tape, what will your emphasis be on in terms of improving?
Yeah, first I gotta watch it, and then the second part is just walking off the field is. I'm gonna be honest. I wouldn't necessarily say it's going to be anything, physical. I think it's all going to be within the mentals and also leading during the week a little bit better than I did last week. whether it's me pushing the guys when it's tempo in practice, whether it's getting more reps, in the film room, whatever the case may be, adding more guys to watch a film with me, whatever the case may be. I think it all comes from leading in consistency, because I'd say we were a bit inconsistent tonight, and especially in the first half. That was the key sense of frustration was inconsistency. I would say, whether it was drop balls, whether it was me fumbling snaps, whether it was offensive line, missing the defensive line read cues and things like that. Whatever it leads into, I would say just consistency is the most important part.
Let's do one more.
Zachariah, we saw you pull out the Cristiano Ronaldo celebration after your first score. I know it's a different sport, but why were you inspired to pull that one out?
I got into the game FIFA and I had scored a goal one time and I just did the celebration button and I was like, that's pretty cool. I've been planning that for 2 months and I was waiting for the opportunity to come. And I was like, when I go like this, I'm raging to the crowd. So, did it.
Given all the problems you had last year defensively, is the defense a concern already?
Here we go with everybody's going to write the narrative after the first game. Listen, it's going to be a climb, right? It's going to be a climb. I like what I see out there in terms of our good plays and how our guys are flying around, the depth that we have. We will continue to improve the baseline for that group. The ceiling for that group is much higher than it was 12 months ago. And no matter what the score was, if this was a 3-point game, if it was a 28-point game, if it was a 50-point game, there's going to be that climb to the next step, and that's where our focus is going to stay. So I love what we have in there. It's kind of like Mason said, and he's exactly right. A lot of work to do, and we're the right people to get it done.
Thank you, gentlemen.